My friend kept inviting herself over for dinner without bringing anything, so I started ordering takeout for one. She whined, "Why didn't you make enough for me?" I smirked and said, "I didn't invite you." Let me tell you about Mia. Mia was one of those people you meet and think, "Oh, she seems nice." She had this bubbly, fun personality that made her easy to like at first, but it didn't take long to realize she was a freeloader in the most annoying way possible. I live in Asheville, North Carolina, in a small but cozy house I'm proud of. I've worked hard to create a comfortable, peaceful life for myself. Cooking dinner, sipping on a glass of wine, and watching true crime shows after a long day at work is my version of happiness. I'm a private person. I like my space, I like my quiet, and I love my routines. Mia, however, didn't respect any of that. I met her through a mutual friend, and at first, I didn't mind when she'd randomly stop by. She was fun to talk to, and I didn't mind the little company once in a while. But then it started happening more often, always around dinner time. The first time it felt like a coincidence. I had just pulled a chicken casserole out of the oven when my doorbell rang. There she was, smiling like she just won the lottery. "Oh my gosh, it smells amazing in here," she said as she practically pushed her way into my house. Before I knew it, she was standing in my kitchen staring at the casserole. I didn't have the heart to tell her no, so I grabbed a couple of plates. She piled hers high like she hadn't eaten all day, and I ended up with the smallest portion. But whatever, it was just one night, right? Wrong. A few days later, it happened again. I was making tacos, and right as I was setting the table, there she was at the door. "Wow, taco night," she said, walking in without even waiting for me to invite her again. She helped herself like it was her God-given right. No offer to pitch in. No. "Hey, let me bring something next time. Just thanks for dinner." On her way out, after the fourth or fifth time, it became clear this wasn't some random thing. Mia had figured out I was a decent cook, and now she was treating my house like her personal restaurant. She always had some excuse for showing up. "Oh, I was just in the neighborhood," or "I was running errands nearby and thought I'd swing by." Never mind that she lived a good 15 minutes away, and there were no stores or errands near my house. I started feeling annoyed, but didn't want to be rude. I tried dropping hints. One night I told her I'd only made enough soup for myself. She laughed and said, "Oh, don't worry, I don't need much," and ladled herself a giant bowl before I could stop her. Another time I joked about how she was lucky to show up when dinner was ready, and she just grinned and said, "It's like I have perfect timing." Perfect timing. My ass. The final straw came one Friday night. I'd had a long awful day at work, and just wanted to relax. I made myself a big bowl of spaghetti carbonara, poured a glass of red wine, and settled in to watch my favorite show. Just as I was twirling my first bite of pasta onto my fork, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and there she was holding a shopping bag. "Hey, I bought some stuff earlier and thought I'd stop by for a minute." She walked in without waiting for me to respond. "Oh, you're having carbonara? Yum." I stared at her. "Yeah, I just made it for myself," I said, trying to hint that she wasn't welcome to it. "Oh, I'm starving," she said, sitting down at my table like it was the most normal thing in the world. "Can I have a plate?" I wanted to scream. Instead, I got up, grabbed a clean plate, and gave her half my dinner. She ate it happily and then left like usual, chirping, "Thanks for dinner, you're the best," as she walked out the door. I was livid. That night as I cleaned up what was left of my dinner, I decided enough was enough. I didn't want to be confrontational. I hate confrontation, but I wasn't about to keep feeding someone who had zero respect for me or my boundaries. The next time Mia showed up unannounced, I was ready. I'd ordered takeout for myself, just one small portion of sushi. When she came in and saw the single container on my table, she looked confused. "You didn't cook?" she asked, her voice almost accusatory. "Nope," I said casually. "I didn't feel like it tonight." She frowned. "Oh, what's that?" She pointed at my sushi. "Just something I ordered," I said while popping a piece into my mouth. She stared at me for a second like she couldn't believe I wasn't offering to share. Then she sighed dramatically. "I guess I'll just grab something on the way home." "Good idea," I said sweetly. After that, I started ordering takeout every time she came over. Pizza for one, Chinese for one, burgers for one. Each time her face fell a little more. "You didn't make enough for me," she whined one night when I had a single serving of pad thai sitting in front of me. "I didn't know you were coming," I said with a shrug. "I only ordered enough for myself." She huffed and mumbled something about how I could have ordered more. I just smiled and kept eating. By this point, she was starting to get the hint, but she was stubborn. She kept showing up and I kept ordering for one. I knew it was petty, but honestly, it felt good. I didn't owe her anything. If she wanted a free meal, she could at least ask first, or better yet bring something to contribute. Weeks went by, and Mia kept up her little game, but I wasn't backing down. Every time she dropped by uninvited, I'd have my takeout for one strategy ready to go. And every time she'd leave looking more annoyed. I could tell she was starting to get irritated that her free meals were no longer guaranteed. But then she pulled a move I didn't see coming. It was a Wednesday night and I'd just gotten home from work. I was exhausted, running on fumes, and dreading the thought of even boiling water for pasta. So I decided to order takeout again. I picked up my phone, placed my usual sushi order, and settled into the couch to wait. Not even 20 minutes later, I heard the familiar ding-dong of my doorbell. My stomach sank. I already knew who it was. I opened the door and there she was, all smiles. But this time she wasn't empty-handed. She had a grocery bag dangling from her arm. "Hey, I thought I'd swing by and surprise you," she chirped, stepping inside before I could say a word. "And look, I even brought some stuff to help with dinner." I blinked. I didn't know what to say. On one hand, it was the first time she'd ever brought anything over. On the other hand, it was obvious she was trying to wiggle her way back into my meals. I glanced at the bag. It had half a loaf of white bread, a jar of cheap marinara sauce, and a bag of pre-shredded mozzarella. That's nice of you, but I've already ordered takeout," I said, trying to keep my voice neutral. Her face dropped. "Oh," she said with her tone flat. Then her smile snapped back into place. "Well, that's okay. I can cook this here and we can eat together." She breezed past me into the kitchen, plopping the bag on my counter like she owned the place. Now I was pissed. She wasn't just inviting herself over. She was inviting herself into my kitchen. But instead of exploding, I walked over to the counter, picked up her grocery bag, and handed it back to her. "I appreciate the gesture, but I've had a long day and really just want to eat my takeout and relax," I said firmly. She blinked at me, stunned. "Are you serious? I brought this all the way over here." I didn't budge. And, I didn't ask you to. For a second she just stood there glaring at me, then huffed snatched the bag out of my hands, and stormed out the door without another word. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought she'd finally gotten the message. But no, Mia wasn't done yet. A few days later while at work when my phone buzzed with a text from Mia, it read, "Hey, what's for dinner tonight? I'm in the mood for something good." I stared at my phone completely dumbfounded. Was she serious? After everything, I didn't even respond. I just put my phone down and went back to work. But then the texts kept coming. "Should I bring wine? I can be there by 6. Hello, don't leave me hanging." I didn't reply to any single one. I figured she'd take the hint. But when I got home that evening, guess who was waiting for me on my porch? Yep, Mia. She was sitting on the steps scrolling on her phone like it was the most normal thing in the world. When I got out of my car she looked up and waved. "Hey, I was starting to think you weren't coming home." I didn't even bother hiding my irritation. "What are you doing here?" Mia grinned like we were best friends. "I figured you didn't see my texts, so you can click on share and more to see if there is a part 2.